Welcome to Gold Derby. I'm senior editor Denton Davidson here with Pierre-Olivier Persson, the special makeup effects designer and supervisor on The Substance. Pierre, this looked like a huge challenge, but also a dream job for any makeup artist. You really just get to go for it. What were your thoughts when you first read the script and met with Coralie Farguide, your director?
Um, well, I was surprised that Coralie wanted to do as much as practical effects as possible. I thought that half of it would be VFX, as you know, and or a mix of techniques. And she was like, "No, no, no! I want really flesh and blood to be real." And yes, I agree with you. That was yeah, let's go the practical way. And that was a teenager dream because in France, especially when I grew up and when I started, there were there were no makeup effects studios. There was no industry. I mean, there was a French movie industry, but no makeup effects industry. Only a handful of people, but really two or three people at the end of the 80s were doing that in France, which is very, very different from the US, obviously. And so when I was reading Fangoria or Gorzon or whatever, or watching movies, and it was just, yeah, you could only dream of doing that, but it was not even a reality. 30 years later, I mean, and I've worked in the meantime, but and the industry have developed since. But to be able to do old school practical effects like that was teenager dream come true.
Well, and Monstro Elisasue, let's just get right into that one. One of the greatest monstrosities I've ever seen on film. Can you talk about how you came up with the idea of that and the faces peeking out and um, how did you just come up with that idea and how long did it take to create that?
Monstro, the what was written in the script was that grotesque creature with Elizabeth Demi Moore's face in the back. That was written. Apart from that, it was not described at all. So, and when I read the script, I was not hired yet. But at night, I was working on another show, and at night, I sculpted a maquette of what I thought the monstro could be. And just a bet like that, just a feeling. And I showed it to Coralie, and it was quite close to the final monster we have in the movie, actually. And she liked it. She liked her a lot, and I guess that's one of the reasons I was hired on the movie. And so yeah, and uh, we exchanged ideas with Coralie and everything, but I don't know. It was a long process. It took us to really refine the design, like 3 or 4 months of doing from plastilin maquettes, old school hand sculpted maquette, to digital sculpting, to Photoshop, to a mix of everything, to really refine the head, those details and everything. But all the boobs, and I know that spines, they are important from the birth in the beginning, the back splitting open. And so I did, I don't know, it was kind of logical. It was a little mix of everything that happens in the movie. That first maquette was okay, but after that it was it was lots of work. We started building Monstro, but we were so late and so behind because of all many. It was complicated movies with lots of work, and we were everything we've done on that movie we've built at least twice because we are only doing prototypes. So um, if you can build a prototype and do it again, you will do it better, obviously. And so, but it's very time consuming, costs lots of money, and that's what we did on the show. If I saw something that was that could be done better, sometimes you're like, we don't have time, we don't have money, we just have to go with it, and that will be okay. But on that show, it was like, let's start over, let's start again, and because the design was took quite some time and everything. In the end, um, we subcontracted it's important to say, the Monstro suit to a UK company, Dave and Louis Elsie. They built the suit, and then we um, we took care of it, and we did all the effects of the end of the movie, the boop sticking out of the head, and we built all that, and the blob, and all those things, and we applied. We took care of the monster, but it was it was a big team effort. You're never as good as the people around you.
Yeah. And what was it like working with Demi Moore? Did she enjoy that transformation? Was she as terrified to look at herself as everyone else was?
No, 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 no. She wasn't terrified at all. She was. I loved working with her because she was with us all the way through. She was never looking at her mobile or, I don't know. Yeah, she was always looking at herself in the mirror and always with you, saying, "Oh, send me designs and send me pictures, even of the sculptures and your designs, because it helps me to imagine what the character will be and how I will move and act." And she was the real trooper from the beginning to the end. She was, yeah,
And
dream
she's
come true for makeup artist.
and she's so funny in this movie too. It's there is elements of comedy in the film. Does that impact how you create at all, or not really? Knowing that you're gonna have some laughs, so does it give you a little more wiggle room, or is it the same as it would have been anyway?
To be perfectly honest with you, I only noticed. I was very surprised. I was at the Cannes Film Festival. The first time I saw the movie, I was at the Cannes Film Festival with the crew, and I was really surprised that the audience was laughing and everything. I never thought of that. We thought we were making, me on my side, we were making serious effects and serious characters. I never thought, yeah, of it as a comedy at all.
What was that like the first time you saw it with an audience? Because I will say I feel bad for people who didn't see it in a theater because it was one of the most thrilling theater experiences I've had, just getting that reaction from the audience. What was that like for you the first time?
It was awesome. It was like a mix between a roller coaster and a fun house, and a mix between a roller coaster and a fun house with skeletons and frightening you and there are 2,000 people laughing and screaming and clapping. It was the best time.
Yeah. How did you come up with the progression of Elizabeth? I mean, because it starts with that finger. And like that's kind of the first like, oh, like what is happening? And then it just spirals. And by the end, she's just transformed and she's aging at this rapid pace. What is the key to aging someone like that?
Hmm. What was difficult is, like you said, it's one finger and then it's one arm, half of the face. It's not both arms or all the fingers and prosthetics. You build up volume, obviously, because you put an appliance on top of someone else's face or hand. So you have the old arm or the old finger. It's supposed to look skinny, but it's bigger than the other fingers are. And so at first, I we were building all the stuff at the workshop, and I did a test of the first finger I built, and I just for me like that, and I hated it. I thought, even though it was quite thin and everything, I thought it looked like a ET finger or Mickey Mouse. I don't know. It was not working to me, and so I said, and so we were building the rest of the effects, the full arm, the full leg, and all that. And I said, okay, let's stop doing what we are doing. It's not the right direction. We need to start the whole character, even the face. We stopped everything. We tried the face on Demi, but I was unhappy with it as well. And we used different approach. Sometimes, I simplicity, but the simplicity, the classy simplicity, if I might say, it takes lots of time and difficult roads to get there. And so yeah, that was it's subtle, I hope, and but it's lots of work. I didn't want it to look obvious and like, oh, that big arm full of a big face. When half of the face is aged, it's an exercise you do at makeup schools, and nothing wrong with that. But it can look like a makeup from a makeup school, and I didn't want Demi Moore to look like that, obviously. And so yeah, it was lots of work to fine tune everything. But I didn't want the character to age too quickly because nobody, the audience doesn't know what's going to happen. All the Gollum, the full, the full aging, the Gollum character, and so yeah, I talked a little bit with Carly about that, saying, yeah, let's keep it quiet and subtle at the beginning because the surprise is going to be better in the end.
And in those early moments, how do you create that split down the spine when we see Sue coming out of Elizabeth?
Okay. So for the birth sequence and everything, it was a mix of uh, puppets, silicone bodies, dummies, and prosthetics. So we shot big back prosthetics during the actual photography and the actual shoot. And then at the end of the shoot, we had like 3 or 4 weeks of what we call the lab, which was to shoot all the complicated makeup effects and everything. So we had a raised set, and I was with my crew, and we were from below the set puppeteering different dummies with the back splitting open and everything moving, and it was some kind of puppetry, and yeah, it was nothing fancy from a mechanical point of view, but I think we got what Coralie wanted, which is something organic and something she could direct live,
So
quick, faster, yeah.
when we see Demi and Margaret, like when they're laid out on the floor, in those moments, did you have like full built body doubles for them, or does it go back and forth between what's close up and then when it's far away, is it actually them?
It depends. We had real body double, photo double. So we used them quite a lot. Sometimes we had the actresses, and for the close-ups we had dummies also for all the spinal section and all those horrible things. So it was a mix of all that.
And in that finale, I mean, it's an epic finale. Can you just sort of walk us through a little bit about like what that entailed and how you just created this epic bloodbath to finish off the movie?
Okay, lots of interesting effects, especially because Coralie wanted to do it live and practical. Um, so first there is, okay, I have to say again, it's a teamwork. When all the blood coming out of her of Monstro's arm, we had the special effects supervisor and his team building all the blood rig, because it was like fireman who's it was spurting blood. It was a crazy amount of blood, and so we had them building all those rigs, and I'm happy they did it. And we had only really one suit. So, and the suit was foam latex, so basically it's a big sponge. And when the suit is soaked in blood, and you have to repair it and reglue it, and it doesn't dry overnight, even though you're trying whatever you try to do, you're trying to do. And so that was a lot of work. But what was really fun was like there's the monstrous head explodes, so that was fun to do. and and
How did you make that happen?
again, working with we built gelatin heads. The skin was gelatin, a very weak, fragile mix of gelatin with a very thin shell, like a skull, but that could easily break and explode. and we put lots of horrible stuff inside and blood bags and horrible brain matters and whatever. And the special effects again, crew put all the explosive and the squibs, and they put quite a lot of stuff in that. And we, yeah, we just pushed the buttons.
So is that the end of Monstro, or is there some sort of version that's still assembled that you have
Yeah, no,
safely
no.
kept?
Exactly. No, no, no. And then we had that, and in the script we had the exploding head, and then there was like a bubble growing, and then another explosion, and then a new head. And I say to Coralie, just two exploding heads in a row and a bubble. Maybe we can have something I don't know funnier. And she was like, okay, what do you propose? So we came up with those growing heads, weird baby's head, and really 80s old school heads. That was lots of fun to do. And so we did that. And then there's a second head that we did, and she's running like headless chicken. And there's the blob, and then her body explodes. So we did lots of work for that too. It was lots of work there. And even though it's quite crazy and you don't really understand all the time what's happening on the screen, there was lots happening, during the shoots. And then so the blob is crawling out of the remains of Monstro, and then it melts. And so we did for that. That was really the end. After crawling under the set with our blood puppet, we melted it and like old school Raiders of the Lost Ark kind of gelatin and wax blob that we melted. A really, really old school way. And that was tons of fun.
So did you get to keep anything? Like, is there anything that still exists that you like put in a little safekeeping for yourself, just as a memory? What do you hold on to?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. I have, when Demi is sitting in her chair in front of the TV and her kneecap is stuck, and she's very old, and she tries to move her leg because the kneecap is stuck. So she was kneeling inside the chair actually, and both legs were fake. And so we were able to do horrible things to the legs. So I have that. I have some of the monster heads. I have many things actually.
Wow. Well, I mean, it was just incredible to see. I was blown away by your work in this film, and it's such a great movie, The Substance. Congratulations, Pierre, and good luck this awards season.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.